So Despicable Me 2 is a great sequel and carries on fantastically well from what the first movie did, and there's a genuine argument of which movie is better, Despicable Me 1 or Despicable Me 2.
Grab the moon, I sit on the toilet.
Honestly, I would say that the first one is marginally better than the second one, but let us know down in the comments down below which one you prefer, Despicable Me 1 or Despicable Me 2, or any of the others. For me though, I think following the story of Gru, this time being a good guy, trying to track down a bad guy, was different. It was fresh. And it followed well from what the first one did with the kids as well, because it felt like the kids all were missing a mother, and it felt like this movie was always building up to Gru potentially finding a girlfriend as well. So I think that was all good, because you had the side plot and you had Gru and Lucy working together to track down this villain which is on the loose. I think that the villain was also great in this film, El Macho, and it felt like a proper bona fide animation villain, in which can't be said about Victor, in which looked like a smarter version of McLovin, let's be honest.
I am McLovin.
And El Macho seemed to have like an aura around him, which I loved, because he was seen as like this legendary figure when Gru was talking about him, somebody that Gru obviously looked up to or was around similar times when he was a villain, something like that. And he has a history. He seems to be one of the baddest villains of all time, and until his tragic death, as you would call it, because it would seem to be like he'd faked his own death of taking a shark, strapping himself with explosives and chucking himself into an erupting volcano, and seemed to be faking his death, as so-called later on is revealed. I don't know how he faked it, but he did. And I think it was an interesting story of the El Macho stuff, because you never knew whether he was going to be the villain, because he's obviously dead, or whether or not that he did fake his death and that he's somehow linked, because that name keeps coming up. But also that Gru is determined that the owner of the Mexican restaurant is El Macho because of his figure. He looks similar, the characteristics, but he comes across as a nice guy and somebody who doesn't seem dodgy at all. However, all seems to point away from the Mexican restaurant owner when they frame this wig shop owner, and it seems to point away, and I like that. It's just like animations try to do all the time. It tries to go one way and then goes and double backs the other way, and it turns out Gru was right and that El Macho was the Mexican restaurant owner. And I think that was a really interesting plot, and he felt like quite an evil villain as well, because he managed to take most of Gru's minions and turn them into steroid looking fuckers that are purple now, and also that he took Dr. Nefario as well and helped to create all this weird looking serum stuff to be able to turn more minions into these fucking steroid looking fuckers. And I think that was cool as well, because he had an empire of fucking terrifying looking minions, and I think it was cool to see what he would have gone and done if Gru didn't stop him in his track. I think Gru and Lucy's character development was also pretty fucking good as well. I liked it, because if you watch the film, at the start of the film, obviously they first meet when Lucy lipstick tasers him and wipes him out and then puts him in his boot, and then gets taken to the AVL headquarters where they present Gru with the task at hand, which is to basically track down this villain, because he used to be a villain himself, be a good guy, be a spy, and try to find this villain before it causes any more chaos. And I think that weren't a bad idea for Gru, and I think that character development between the two at the start wasn't very great and felt a little bit frosty, considering the fact that Gru got tasered and then got covered in fucking cake when Lucy karate chops all these cakes, and then he gets covered head to toe in icing. But yeah, there's several points, probably like the first half of the film, where they're not really on the same page. They don't gel well enough together at that point. It's only until really Gru goes on that date with Jillian and she bails him out big time by using a sleeping dart to put Jillian to sleep, so that Gru didn't get embarrassed for wearing a wig. And I think that was quite an interesting part then, because that showed the tides were switching, where there was actual love connection between the two. And we find that as the investigation goes on, and the investigation looks to be done when the wig guy gets arrested and framed, it looks as if, okay, they're going to split ways. Gru's done his job and was practically useless at his job when that's how it was presented, and Lucy gets sent out, and to a different assignment. However, when she's traveling to her next assignment, he's just thinking about Gru, and all Gru's thinking about is Lucy. So you've got that connection there, where there's obviously a great connection that they had working with each other. And then obviously at the end of the film, El Macho straps Lucy to a rocket with a shark on, with explosives on, heading into an eruptive volcano, and that's where Gru steps in to help save Lucy, in which was a fantastic end, and leading to obviously them two getting married at the end, with some random pop songs playing at the end as well. Before we jump back into this video, guys, please do us a massive favour and smash that subscribe button, because you do not want to miss a thing this week, next week, and the week after, because we've got tons and tons of content planned for you guys, and you can do us a massive favour by smashing that subscribe button, joining the community, getting updates to all the latest videos, from the YouTube shorts to the actual videos. It is well worth it, completely free, and you will not regret it. So to summarise this movie then, for me, this is an 8.4 out of 10 and a classic film. Let us know your thoughts down in the comments down below. Is it good, bad, terrible, amazing? Let us know all that jazz down in the comments down below. And yes, if you haven't yet seen our Despicable Me movie review, go check that out right now.